Hello guys, welcome back to another tutorial of Python. It's me Uday Shankar. So let's get started. Today we are going to learn about the difference between declaring a variable in the class level as well as declaring a variable using the self. So there are difference between these two different ways, and we are going to learn that. Okay, so I have a very basic class here, my employee class, and I have two variables declared on top of the class without any self keyword. Those variables are type and designation, and inside the constructor I have two different other variables. One is name and age. So I'm removing this one as well, and this name and age is tied with the self keyword. Okay, keep in mind guys, and there are two variables on top without the self, and inside the constructor I have two different variable, name and age. So here why should I do this is most of the time if I have to keep two variable common for all employees, then I can declare it this way. Like these two variable will be common for all employee, and these variable can change when you create an instance of the specific class. So I am declaring here name, age. So name and age. So in my constructor I added two parameters, name and age, and I am assigning this name and age with the self parameter name and age. Okay, so now I am going to create an instance. So here you know that I am outside the class because up to this it is specific to this class, and here if I in the same line of this class keyword I am adding an entry employee1 equal to employee, and this will ask for two different variables to be added. One is Alex, and the age of Alex is 25, and I am adding one more employee, employee2, employee John, he is 18 years old or 28 years old. Okay, now I am going to call this employee1 dot detail and employee2 dot get details. So I'm going to call these get details method from each of these two different instances. So for this instance the name will be Alex and the age will be 25, and for this employee2 instance the name will be John and the age will be 28. So when I execute this, you can see that for employee1 the name is Alex, for employee2 the Alex is the name is John. So both these Alex and John got printed here. So this so you can see that it's Alex and John got printed. So this is perfect. So now let's see the type, and I'm going to print one dot type software engineer, and I'm going to print employee2 dot type, that's also software engineer. All right, so here what I'm going to do is before adding these two employee, I have to change the type to something else. Going to change the software engineer to solution architect, and I'm going to execute it, and you can see that for I changed this type to solution architect, And when I changed the type to solution architect for employee 1 instance and employee 2 instance, it got changed to solution architect. That's why when it print the type variable inside employee 1 and employee 2, you can see it is updated to solution architect. And these keyword, like which is declared in the class variable, are supposed to update using the class name instead of the instance name. So using the class name employee, I am updating this solution architect, and that got reflected in both these two instances. But if I have to override it just for, I'm going to create 3 different instances. Samuel, and he is 38 years old. So for Samuel, he is a senior person, and I have to update his type to solution architect. And for others, it should be software engineers. So the software engineer is the default one, right? So only for Samuel, I have to update it to solution architect. If I have to do that, then I have to call this type function using the instance name. So this way it will update only for employee 3, and for employee 1 and employee 2, the type will be software engineer. So I'm going to print employee 3 also, employee 3 type. Now if I execute, you can see that for employee 1 and employee 2, the type is solution or software engineer, and for employee 3, the type is solution architect. You can see that it is printed here. And now we can do one more thing. So for employee 1 and employee 2, the type have to be analyst. Analyst, and I have to print the type here. So you can see that for employee 1 and employee 2, the type is analyst, and for employee 3, the type is solution architect. And if you try updating using the instance name, then it will override this updation. Even if I update it before this instance, I'm going to update it with trainee. For employee 1 and employee 2, the type will be trainee, and for employee 3, the type will be solution architect. You can see that. And from here in this tutorial, what you can understand is these variable which is declared in the class level can be updated with the class name, or can be called only with the class name in most of the cases. But you can still call it using employee 1, the instance name, but if you update it, it will update only for those specific instance. But if you declare a variable like this and access it using the class name, then you can even update that for all instances. And if you have 100 different instances, and for one instance or two instances, if you need a different value, then you can update that value using the instance name. And these key variable which is added using the self keyword, those can't be accessed using this employee class name. You can see those variables are not exist in this list. The type, get detail, designation, those are all listed, but these variable inside this init, the constructor is not available here. If I try printing this way, then sometimes it will end up with error or not going to return anything. You can see that employee has no attribute name. That means using the class name, you can access only these variable which is declared inside the class without using self. And I hope you understood this. It's very simple. You have to use the self keyword to update all instance level variable. Like if you have to update or access a variable using instance, those variable have to be assigned like this using the self keyword. And if you have to access some key variables using the class name, then you have to declare it in the class level. So this is all guys for this video tutorial. If you have any questions, add a comment down below, and see you in the next video tutorial. Thank you guys.